Okay, this episode's about finishing my front brakes and adapting the calipers to fit the 14.5-inch rotors. And then I had some issues with the clutch, which I have, in fact, hopefully resolved. So let me go ahead and show you how I put all this together and on to the next steps. Okay, let's talk front brakes. Because the wheel bolt pattern is different, I've got 14.5-inch rotors, and then I had to have them re-drilled for a 5x112 bolt pattern, which fits my OEM Lamborghini front wheels. Now, because these are larger, that meant that the brackets were not going to fit the calipers. So these rotors actually weigh 23 pounds apiece. So let me show you the brackets that I came up with. Okay, here's the bracket that I fabbed. Now these will bolt directly to the brackets on the spindle itself. Then these holes will actually be where the caliper now fits. Now, I had to actually grind off this nut because the calipers were hitting that. So, kind of a hodgepodge things, but get these painted and then get them mounted up, and I'll show you the end results. Okay, brackets have been painted, ready to be installed. These are the little standoffs for these bolts, so they seat properly into the caliper threaded sections. So let's put it together. Okay, it's always something. I'd been just using the bracket here for determining where the holes go. But then when I went to put the caliper on, the bracket was hitting the caliper. So I had to modify it. Now I just need to modify this one and we'll be good to go. Okay, take two. Got them reshaped now so the calipers will fit on there. So now I'll put on the rotors and go from there. Okay, front calipers are on and the bracket fits very nice. Bolted through here, through the bracket, into the caliper. Now just last thing is I need to get the brake lines to go from there, and then I'll be all done with my brakes. I got to take video or pictures before I got this thing, but I have the new clutch master cylinder installed, vertical now as opposed to horizontal. I essentially had to cut off the two studs on the brake assembly and fix two new studs on a plate and get it bolted on. Also went ahead and, kind of hard to see, but I used a Heim joint for the attachment up there, just like I did down here on the clutch, or on the brakes. So the clutch has a Heim joint on it, and now I just have to bleed it and hope that it works. Encountered another issue. The slave cylinder that I had in there seemed to snap. I've ordered another one, but I was trying to figure out what was the problem. So if you look down here in the opening for the slave cylinder, you will notice that the fork is not centered in the opening. So is that I get to pull the transaxle out and then look at the fork and figure out which one I need. Now that only involves removing the exhaust system transaxle, unbolt it, take out all the bolts holding it to the adapter plate, and pull it back to be able to see the frickin' fork. Good times. Okay, one thing I wanted to point out is serviceability. At one point I had messed up and the fork on the transaxle wasn't centered, and I ended up breaking a slave cylinder. So to resolve that issue, what I had to do was basically pull the transaxle back and fix the problem I had on the fork. Now to do that, I needed to remove all of my shift linkage, my clutch lines, my exhaust, the intake filter and mass airflow sensor, unhook the wiring, unbolt everything, and pull it back. Now the point I'm trying to get to is that when you're building these things, you really need to think about serviceability. I had not planned on pulling my transaxle, but I was able to do that. So now all I have to do is put my exhaust back, my sensors, all the other pieces that are going to hold it together. But I will be able to do that. So something to think about when you're building these things is, if something breaks, how am I going to service it? So, lesson learned on my part. Okay, got in my AFCO shocks for the front, and then the 8-inch springs. These are AFCO springs. Got a nice little velvet bag, and then you have actually an 8-inch chrome shock like that. Now let's see if I can get them on. Okay, got the front shocks installed. We'll have to adjust for ride height, but these are the AFCO ones that were called for on the NARC plans. And actually on the plans it calls for compressing the spring, but we were able to get them on without, so all buttoned up and good to go. Now I just have to work on the back. I think I found some more affordable ones for the back. I'll continue doing my research. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would, and be sure and turn on your post notifications. Thank you for watching.